In over 5 decades, Doctor Who has had a lot of enemies, monsters, aliens, allies, and despite being able to travel anywhere and anytime, the Doctor does have a tendency to run into some of these creatures more than once. And as I make this very video, the 12th Doctor is about to go face to reptilian face with the Ice Warriors, who are enemies, monsters, aliens, and sometimes even allies. But who are the Ice Warriors that we speak of? Here's everything you need to know. But before we get to that, rewind, here's maybe the most important thing you need to know about Doctor Who in general. The backstory for races like the Ice Warriors tends to change a lot. So while the Ice Warriors have only technically appeared in about 5 TV stories as the main aliens since their introduction in 1967, there's also books and radio dramas and comics, which stresses their list of appearances way further. And do you know who knows which of those stories counts as canon and which don't? No one. I don't. Stephen Moffat doesn't. The Doctor suddenly popped out of the TARDIS right here, right now. She wouldn't know. That's right, the Doctor is a woman in my video. Deal with it. Anyway, as a lifelong Whovian, here's the best way I know how to handle amorphous, constantly changing canon. You use the TV show as the groundwork, and then you take some of the general stuff from everywhere else that doesn't conflict. Things will still change. Someone will probably have to come back to this video and overdub something I said to stay current. But for now, this is everything you need to know about the Ice Warriors. For real this time. The first thing to know about the Ice Warriors is that, unlike the Doctor, they actually are from Mars.
I'm not from Mars.
And the Ice Warrior civilization was doing its industrial revolutionary thing during the Earth's Pliocene epoch, from roughly 5 million to 2.58 million years BP. So, while we were looking like weird elephants and deers and chewing grass, they were doing stuff. This is one of those questionable historical periods I was talking about before. The Ice Warriors were definitely industrial, they were definitely civilized, but the shape of that isn't official. Maybe they were peaceful, like the Doctor Who audio dramas suggest, or maybe they weren't. We don't really know. But we do know that Mars doesn't stay habitable forever because, duh. And at the very least, at that point, the Ice Warriors become, you know, Ice Warriors, emphasis on the warrior part. Just think, all this is before anything that takes place on Doctor Who, the actual TV show. Isn't being a nerd fun? We're almost there though, I promise. So, the Ice Warriors have these big suits of armor, which they almost never ever remove. It's exoskeletal and biomechanoid and attaches to the Ice Warriors in a way that makes them almost cyborg-like in nature. The suits have half face helmets with red screens over their eyes. Those suits, they are strong. They make the wearer not only more durable, but faster and more capable of sustaining life in extreme conditions, like, say, living on Mars, for instance. Did I mention that even outside of their armor, the suits can be remote controlled? And that even outside of their suits, Ice Warriors are super lethal? Good things to know if you ever think you've got the advantage over an Ice Warrior, because you probably don't. The Ice Warriors also have a pretty strict caste system, which impacts what kind of suit the Ice Warriors wear. The higher delegates are more likely to wear smaller, more stately armor, whereas your grunts, your soldiers, wear the larger suits with the big chest plates and the big butts. I mean, I'm just saying, those Ice Warrior hips don't lie. In fact, despite the perception, Ice Warriors are not usually big liars. They're warriors, but just like Klingons, they're mostly honorable. So, why do they usually seem like the bad guys? Well, consider the Ice Warriors' point of view, and you'll find they often are not. In their first appearance in a second Doctor story called The Ice Warriors, we discover the native Martians emerge from an Earth glacier, having been frozen in ice for what may be millennia, only to discover humans, a race they are totally unfamiliar with, doing something to the glacier their ship is trapped in. Now, the humans are trying to deal with a second ice age, but from the Ice Warriors' perspective, the humans seem to be on the attack. Sure, the Ice Warriors are willing to end human life in order to escape the glacier, but, you know, that's mostly out of a sense of self-preservation, and in fairness, the humans do wind up destroying the Ice Warriors at the end, so history kind of ends up being written by the victors there. Call that one a draw on the whole are they good or bad scale. Here's another example. In the Ice Warriors' second appearance, the Seeds of Death, their plan is to invade Earth after using seeds of, well, death, to make the planet more hospitable for Martians. But, in their defense, they really need this win, you guys? Look, they don't really have a home planet anymore, so I guess the excuse is that. But, okay. The Ice Warriors don't seem very cool or awesome with the whole death seeds thing. It's kind of a bad guy move. But then, see, in The Curse of Peladon, there's this whole situation where Joe and the Third Doctor are quick to blame the Ice Warriors for their supposed monster that's wreaking havoc on negotiations to bring Peladon into the Galactic Federation. But then, it turns out, the Ice Warriors were actually totally innocent the whole time, and then the Ice Warriors help out, and, I mean, you get it. The Ice Warriors are kind of the good guys there. Except in Monster of Peladon a few years later, where then they're the bad guys again. But let's look at the most recent time we as an audience see the Ice Warriors, which takes place in an 11th Doctor episode called Cold War. It's set during the Cold War, and it's inside of a nuclear-armed Russian sub. Once again, an Ice Warrior is discovered frozen, which happens a lot, and once again, when he's thawed, he goes on a rampage. But this Ice Warrior, Grand Marshal Skaldak, is one of the bloodiest war heroes the Ice Warriors have ever had, and he got frozen mid-war. So, when he wakes up, gets attacked, and discovers that he's in the midst of Earth's mutually assured destruction, yeah, you could see where he'd be down for that, since he thinks he's the last of his kind. Also, the Ice Warriors have a saying, which is, attack one of us, attack all of us. So yeah, bad guy. Psych! No, he's not. The Doctor and Skaldak have this big standoff as Skaldak is about to set off a nuke when, ta-da, an Ice Warrior ship shows up, and it turns out Skaldak isn't alone after all. Even though he could still set off the nuke and destroy humanity, he doesn't, because he lost his daughter in a war, and maybe killing everybody and everything isn't always, you know, a great solution. So, as Doctor Who alien monster bad guy allies go, the Ice Warriors are pretty complex. They're not the Daleks, you know what I'm saying? They don't answer everything with extermination. They just kind of hiss. A lot. Just a lot of hissing. And when the 12th Doctor meets them in the Empress of Mars, it'll be a whole new situation where the humans are the ones invading Mars. So, how best to deal with that situation and with Ice Warriors in general? Basically, everything you need to know about the Ice Warriors boils down to 3 rules. 1. Don't start none, won't be none. 2. If you had started something on accident, try begging for forgiveness. And 3. If begging doesn't work, run. Quickly. And if you manage to survive, tickle that subscribe button and follow Sci-Fi Wire on Twitter while you're at it. And, wait, did you hear that? I gotta go. See you next time, hopefully.